All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're ripping open a beast of a machine, a piece of hardware with a name that's, well, it's a real mouthful. The WolfPack 1080p 8x8 seamless HDMI video wall matrix switch. Our mission, to strip away the jargon, and show you the incredible wizardry it performs, straight from its detailed specs. Think of it as the invisible brain behind those massive dynamic visual displays you see everywhere, from control rooms to digital art installations.
It's true. A name like that can sound incredibly technical, a bit daunting maybe. But I think you'll find that while it's a mouthful, the underlying concepts are really about solving some fundamental challenges. Challenges in how we manage and present complex visual information. This isn't just a box of wires. It's about control, clarity, and creating, truly immersive visual experiences. Get ready for some real aha moments that simplify its powerful functionality.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When I first heard WolfPack 1080p 8x8 seamless HDMI video wall matrix switch, my mind immediately went to those complex control rooms from movies. Or maybe a massive digital billboard. Is that the kind of environment we're really talking about here? Or is this device something maybe a bit more common? And specifically, what does HDMI matrix switch actually mean? Beyond just a simple A to B connection.
That's a great initial thought because, yeah, you're right. Those are exactly the kinds of places where a device like this truly shines. You know how a simple HDMI splitter just duplicates a signal? Or a basic switch just lets you pick one input for one output?
Yeah.
Well, an HDMI matrix switch is like leveling up to a central control tower. It takes multiple inputs, in this case, 8 different video sources.
What sources? Okay.
And lets you route any of them to any of your multiple outputs. That's 8 different displays. Completely independently and simultaneously. Yeah, you could have 4 different sources going to 4 different screens at the exact same time, all from this one central unit. This particular model, the WolfPack, is an advanced HDMI 1.4 matrix switcher. It supports a crisp 1080p resolution at 60 Hz.
That distinction makes a lot of sense. It's not just a simple switch, it's a traffic controller for signals. Now, you mentioned seamless in its name. Why is that so important, that instantaneous, smooth transition when you're changing sources? What's the real-world cost of not having that seamlessness?
Right. Seamless switching isn't just a nice-to-have. It's often critical. Think about mission-critical environments like a live broadcast or a control room monitoring vital data.
Okay.
Or even just high-end presentations. A single flicker or a black screen when switching.
Yeah.
That can mean missed data, lost trust, or a completely broken illusion. It's the silent hero, really, that ensures professionalism and uninterrupted information flow. It minimizes cognitive load for the viewer. It means when you switch from, say, a live camera feed to a pre-recorded video, there are no disruptive glitches.
No black screens.
Exactly. No flicker, just an instant, smooth transition, which, dramatically elevates the user and viewer experience.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
When I first saw video wall in the description, my mind immediately went to Times Square. Or massive stadium screen. It feels like such a high-end application.
Yeah.
How does a single device like this actually take multiple sort of ordinary screens and make them act as one giant canvas?
That's a fantastic image, and it's quite accurate for what this device enables. A video wall combines multiple displays, think several flat panel screens side by side, top to bottom, to act as one massive continuous screen. So instead of seeing 8 individual monitors, you're viewing one giant cohesive image spread across all of them. This WolfPack unit acts as the video wall processor for this setup.
The processor.
Yeah, it's not just sending a signal to each screen. It's intelligently splitting a single large image across all the connected displays. It meticulously manages how each segment fits together. It ensures high-quality imagery, pristine detailing and rich color across that entire array. So what you see is a single, unified, really impressive display.
That's incredibly powerful. And speaking of power and versatility, I'm genuinely fascinated by the sheer number of control options. It lists front panel push buttons, an IR remote, TCP/IP, Web GUI, APP control, and RS-232 control. Why so many? What does having such diverse control options mean for someone integrating this, say, in a smart home versus a sprawling professional AV installation?
That's a great question because it speaks directly to its adaptability. It's all about flexibility. Having these multiple control options offers immense flexibility for different environments and user preferences. Imagine a boardroom. Someone might prefer the simplicity of front panel buttons or maybe a handheld IR remote for quick changes.
Sure, keep it simple.
Exactly. Now consider a remote operations center or a large digital signage network. There, network control via TCP/IP, WEB-GI, or an app is absolutely essential. You need to manage systems from afar, maybe even across different locations.
Right, makes sense.
And the RS-232 control, that allows for deep integration into larger custom automation systems, things like Crestron or Control4. It makes it a seamless part of a much bigger AV ecosystem. Plus, the unit supports 8D embedded audio outputs.
Oh, interesting. Audio too.
Yeah, and you can even switch the audio independently. So you could route audio from one source to a completely different display or maybe a dedicated audio system. Really fantastic for multi-zone setups.
And when we talk about connectivity, we often hear about digital rights and compatibility issues. This product description mentions HDCP 1.4 compliance with EDID management. For anyone who's ever dealt with frustrating no-signal messages, you know how crucial this digital handshake is? But, with 4K and even 8K becoming more common and HDCP versions constantly evolving, does 1.4 compliance present any limitations down the road for someone investing today?
That's a very perceptive question. It highlights an important nuance, definitely. So, HDTV, high bandwidth digital content protection, is essentially a form of digital copy protection. It's that handshake between devices to ensure copyrighted content can be displayed without being, illegally copied.
Right.
Being HDCP 1.4 compliant means this device can correctly handle and display content from sources like Blu-ray players, cable boxes, most streaming devices, the usual suspects, and EDID, Extended Display Identification Data Management, that's how your source device and your display communicate their capabilities.
Like resolution and refresh rates.
Exactly. Things like supported resolutions and refresh rates. This simplifies setup for you by ensuring they're talking properly. It reduces troubleshooting and helps you get the best possible picture and sound. Now, to your point about 1.4, while newer HDCP versions like 2.2 or 2.3 are needed for 4K and beyond, HDCP 1.4 remains perfectly viable for the 1080p content this specific unit is designed for. It kind of points to its specific niche, perhaps environments where bleeding-edge 4K content isn't the primary concern, or where it's integrating with existing 1080p infrastructure. It offers a robust, proven solution for its intended application.
Okay, let's dive into some of the physical nuts and bolts then. The current price for this particular unit is listed at $1,000, and its part number is HDTV 800M 1080p. What do some of the less obvious specifications tell us about its typical application range or maybe practical things for installation?
Absolutely. Let's look. Take the transmission distance. 45 feet for 1080p at 60 Hz using standard 2880G HDMI cables. That immediately flags it as a solution for within room or adjacent room setups. It relies on standard HDMI cable runs, which is convenient.
Okay, so not for super long distances out of the box.
Right. For longer distances, you'd inherently need something extra, like active optical cables or maybe HD-based extenders, which aren't built into this unit. It defines its application envelope pretty clearly. The bandwidth 10 Gbps, that's crucial. It's what allows for that seamless, high-quality video and audio to flow without compression artifacts.
Which matters for detail, right?
Especially for things like fine text or detailed graphics on a video wall, yes. Its physical dimensions, about 11 by 4.6 by 1.7 inches, and a weight of around 940 grams, maybe 2 pounds. That indicates it's a very manageable unit, easy to rack mount or just place on a shelf. That definitely affects installation positively. It runs on a standard 12-volt, 3-amp DC power supply. Comes with USEU standards, plus CE FCC certifications, so it's ready for various global markets signifying compliance and reliability. And the working temperature range, 0 to 40 degrees Celsius, that's 32 to 104 Fahrenheit, tells you it's designed for typical indoor controlled environments.
Okay.
And finally, being TAA compliant, that isn't just a bureaucratic checkbox.
What does that mean exactly?
It's actually a fascinating peek into the supply chain. For certain government and institutional clients, it means this product is manufactured in countries that have specific trade agreements with the U.S. It ensures certain ethical and security standards are met.
So what does this all mean when we put it into context? This specific WolfPack unit isn't just some generic product floating out there. It comes from HDTV Supply, Inc., which is highlighted as a 24-year global home for audio and video products. And they're even rated an exceptional top quality store by Google Shopping. That sounds pretty solid.
That's a vital piece of the puzzle, yeah.
Yeah.
HDTV Supply, Inc., being a 24-year global home, and also an hdbased.org approved adopter that signals a deep commitment, a commitment to industry standards and long-term viability in a market that evolves really fast.
Right.
They're not just selling hardware, they seem to be building a reputation for reliable industry standard solutions. And what's particularly interesting here is that this 8x8 1080p model isn't isolated. The company's line includes other related products like 16x16, 4x4 versions, even 4K models, some with the newer HDCP 2.3.
Ah, so there's a whole family of these things.
Exactly. It shows how adaptable this core technology is. They provide tailored solutions for everything from smaller, single-room setups to much larger, higher-resolution demands. It really underscores their position as a versatile provider in the AV space.
And there you have it. Our deep dive into the WolfPack 1080p 8x8 seamless HDMI video wall matrix switch.
We've gone from a pretty complex name to understanding its core function as a sophisticated video signal traffic controller. We explored its powerful video wall capabilities, how it stitches multiple screens into one seamless image, and looked at its diverse control options and those practical specifications. Hopefully, understanding such a specific piece of tech gives you a much better grasp of the broader world of digital display and, high-level information management.
Indeed. And maybe something for you to consider moving forward. Think about this. How might seamless switching and these advanced video wall capabilities, like those offered by the WolfPack, evolve as display technology itself advances even further? Imagine not just higher resolutions like 8K or beyond.
But what if these systems could seamlessly integrate with, say, augmented reality overlays, or maybe even holographic projections? What new possibilities could that unlock for how we consume, interact with, or present information in a world where physical and digital displays are increasingly blurring together?
Huh. That's a fascinating thought to end